The National Taxi Indaba gets underway in Germiston today and is expected to focus on formalising the taxi industry. That means converting taxi businesses into corporate entities and ensuring compliance with the country's tax and labour laws. Let's cross now live to our reporter Nothando Magudulela, who's attending the summit. A very good morning to you, Nothando. What are you hearing so far?
Morning, Desiree. We are here at Germiston, where the National Taxi Lekgotla is taking place. We know that the taxi industry is the most informal industry, and the government decided that the industry needs to be formalized and regulated. With me here, I have the president of Santaco that will tell us more about what the Taxi Indaba Lekgotla is. Dr. Phillip, thank you for joining us. Please tell us, are you in support of this National Taxi Lekgotla?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us on your program. The taxi industry under the auspices of Santaco is very much support of this program. And I must indicate that we met in 2001 in Durban when we were establishing the first formalization of the taxi industry in Durban in 2001. Now what we believe the minister is doing, the minister is unpacking the ingredients of formalization to an extent that he's addressing one of the third pillars that we got as a mandate in Durban. And that third pillar is the economic emancipation of the taxi industry. Now, for the first time, we believe through this minister, and I must indicate that when the minister came in, I have already lost confidence in whether the government will be able to address the issues that we spoke to in 1996 under the National Taxi Task Team, which was under the Minister Meg Maharaj at that time. And that the minister comes after so many ministers began to promise this issue of the subsidies in the taxi industry. And I looked at him and I said, this is another talk show coming. And I must tell you that I owe the minister an apology, because what the minister did was to say that I want this program of this taxi subsidies to take place as from the 1st of April next year. And I must indicate that as a taxi industry, we are overwhelmed, and we see this program of the National Taxi Lekgotla as a program that will allow both the taxi industry, government, the community to participate in assisting in reshaping the taxi industry.
We know that the taxi industry has many associations. Do you think that you will be able to become one at the end of the day?
I think if we have been given that opportunity without any interference, without not being stable, actually stable as far as taking a stand, I think government, we would have been very far by now if government have just stayed a little bit out. And in particularly, I'm referring to those provincial governments which has been supporting structures which wanted to sort of divide the taxi industry. But I believe that we are still on the right path, and with the minister saying that unity has to take place within the industry, we believe that we will arrive at that unity. And it is very simple to unite the taxi industry, for as long as you also provide Santaco as the governing body of the taxi industry with the necessary instruments to deal with lawlessness within the taxi industry. I can tell you that we will be able, including not only the associations, including the drivers. I must indicate that the time has come for our drivers to understand that they are employed and that they need to adhere to certain principles of being employees. And I believe that after this, during this discourse, we are expecting even those drivers to come in with inputs as to how do they think they can be accommodated, they can be afforded their constitutional rights of being employees within the taxi industry.
We know that the taxi industry is also faced with unlawlessness and violence. How do you think you'll be able to change the commuters or the community's views on that?
First of all, let me indicate, and that's why I say it's very important that the community will be able to participate and assist us in coming up with some sort of solutions. But what we are also requesting from the minister, and I think the minister is able to address that through the National Taxi Lekgotla. If you would remember that Santaco has been calling for limited regulatory powers. For instance, like your law society or your medical society, whereby when a member has transgressed to such an extent that that member should be barred from operating taxis. I think we are moving to that. And we are moving also to a situation where a driver, if that driver has transgressed or is not actually adhering to the rules of which will be putting down as a taxi industry, that driver will kiss the taxi industry goodbye. And we believe through those kind of rules coming in, disciplines, we will be able to give the customer, money, actually quality services.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Phillip. Desiree, that was Phillip, the president of Santaco. Let's hear what the National Taxi Lekgotla has in store for us with bringing in stakeholders, communities, taxi industries, everyone together to find a solution to a lawful and a community-based industry.
Thank you so much there to Ms. Magudulela. Now, hitchhiking continues to be a popular means of transport in the Eastern Cape.